Good evening. How are you? It is 9 p.m. Central Time, 12/14/2022. I'm John Shank. I'm the founder and managing broker of Deerwood Realty in St. Louis. We're a small brokerage. It's just me. And we used to have more people, but we focus mainly on helping buyers buy homes and sellers selling theirs. In the evenings, I do a live stream, except I haven't done one since Friday. I'm sorry. It's called the Deerwood Realty live stream. That's what you're watching right now. We talk about real estate. We talk about pop culture. We talk about news. We talk about many things. And with that, let me just start off by saying I don't know what category I'm in on Google. I was on entertainment for a while. I was on news. I've never done news and politics. I don't feel like I'm very political. I have political opinions, but I don't really. I wouldn't say that I could be. I don't know how to put it. Anyway, yeah. So that's what I do. Sometimes it goes well, sometimes it doesn't. I felt like Friday of last week, things were getting a little stale. The numbers weren't good. Maybe I had too many. I mean, there's all kinds of reasons why my numbers could not be very good. But it just seemed like everything was starting to get kind of automatic. And I didn't like that. So tonight, hopefully we can be a little bit less, I don't know. Tonight I was like, I'll just come on and we'll see what happens. Maybe it goes better, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. I'm having a tough time with my viewer hours because they're going down and they should be going up. My subscribers are going up, but my hours viewed are going down. And like they were, I know this is embarrassing, but they were like 750 and then it dropped to like 630. And I haven't been doing anything weird with the algorithm or anything. I've just been doing my show. And so it's just odd to me. I don't know what to make of that, but anyway. We had some stuff to talk about today. We had the Federal Reserve. They came out with some news. We had some weird stuff. Like we'll learn about, people stealing titles for houses. The notion that first happened when I was at Thanksgiving. My parents were like in a huge rush to get this service to keep their deed from being taken from them. So we'll go over that. Go over Twitter, talk about some stuff in business that I'm dealing with, and that should be the show. I just wanted to check something. Okay, so I'm going to start off tonight by going over something that happened to me, I believe, yesterday. So I got a call out of the blue from one of my brokerage's former clients. And I say former clients because they're not actively looking for a house, and we sold them a house a number of years ago. And anyway, that client said, hey, I'm thinking about moving. And they were like, this is the first time I've really talked to anybody about it, but I'm just thinking about moving. I have a neighbor that whenever it rains, the water just pours into the sides in between the two houses. And eventually my basement just gets, it's just all wet and nasty. And I've talked to my neighbor about putting up like some sort of French drain or something to take the water away, but it's going to cost like $8,000 and they're not really interested in that. And so, I don't really feel comfortable paying for something on both of our properties anyway. And there's things about the city, and I'm talking about St. Louis. I'm not gonna sugarcoat. There's things about the city that are not something I'm enjoying anymore. For one, the traffic situation is a nightmare. People just driving through red lights, people driving on the wrong side of the road, and there's doesn't seem to be any sort of police presence or anything to to dissuade that. And she said, I'll say it's a she. She said it's dangerous. It's dangerous for me, and I I don't know if I want to live here anymore. Now, I know my client. I know when she bought the house. I know what her logic was when she purchased the house, um, and it's really changed. Now, the first question I ask is, well, how, like, d- what do you think you can buy a house for now? That was the question I had because I can remember when she bought her house. And I knew what mortgage rates were then, and I know what they are now. And I'm like, what are your payments now, and what do you think they'll be if you went to get a new place? And we talked about that, and I was like, yeah. And so she said, what about my what about if I just fix this house up, fixed all the things that's wrong with it? What would that get me? And I was kind of doing the numbers in my head, and I was like, well, what does it need? She's like, it needs a new HVAC system. 2 of the pillars are coming down. They need to be repaired. Um, it's not good. Many thousands of dollars. And I was like, well, this is the pickle. This is what people are fighting themselves in. She said, I looked at a condo. I was just driving by. I said, I saw some nice condos in a different part of town. They wanted $400,000 for the condo. She's like, that's a bit much for me. You know, I'm at the stage in my life where I'm not really wanting to work that hard for just to make house payments. And I said, yeah. And you even got on that, you're going to have an association fee, monthly fee. That's going to change your payments too. And so, you know, I feel like this is going to be a problem with a lot of people. And the problem is you're going to have a situation where people may want to move, but they're stuck because their payments are like more what I would call reasonable. So they're not going to move. And by the way, she said, well, can I pay you just to give me advice on this stuff? I'm like, no, this is what I do all the time. I mean, what we'll do is we'll figure out, how much is this stuff going to cost? Is it worth it to move? Can you afford the move? Do you want to move? Because some people look at selling their house differently than others. So some people take it as an emotional approach. Like, I don't want to live here anymore. I want out. Those people are moving. They don't care about any sort of logic or really numbers based. They just want out. They're analytical. They just don't want. And then there are the analytical. They'll say, well, it's going to cost me this much to do this. It's going to cost me this much to do this. I think I'm better off staying here. I think I'm better off moving. That's how they look at things. And to me, there's no wrong answer. But you kind of have to fall within one of those two camps. So if you're in the marketplace right now, I mean, if you're thinking about entering the marketplace as a buyer or seller, on the buyer side, you have to ask yourself, how much am I willing to spend in what I would call extra payments versus what people got maybe 2 years ago or even last year? And then what can I buy for that? So those are your two questions on the buyer. On the seller side, it's, man, the market's terrible according to John. It's not good. I'll tell you that. Maybe I should stay here. Now, for me, I'm a little different. I guess you can figure that out. I want people to make the right decisions, and I want my clients to enjoy the homes they live in, or feel good about the transactions they do. I don't so much care about trying to get people to move when they shouldn't, or like steering people different directions. Or like, okay, so you say you want to move, let's go look at new houses tomorrow. Like, that's not how I do things. And what I hope to get from that is, when it is time to sell a house, when you are considering selling, or when you are considering buying a house, or one of your friends is, you'd give me a call and say like, hey, this person wants to buy a home. I give them your number. Hopefully it works out. I told him you were a good real estate agent, and hopefully that'll work. That's what I want. I'm not into the turn and burn that you have to do if you're buying leads at thousands of dollars a month, because then all of a sudden, like, you've got to close houses, or else you're just going to eat it. So that makes me a little different. But the question she asked me that kind of sent me back is, can I pay you as an advisor? And it's like, no, I'll give you whatever opinions I have on it, and you can choose to accept them or not accept them, or ask other people. That's totally fine. And so I guess what we'll do now is we'll wait. We'll get some estimates on the repairs that need to be made. We'll get some. I mean, I can do a comp or CMA, in an hour. It's no big deal. And I guess what you might be asking is, okay, well, what are you doing in this market right now? If I'm the listing agent on a property, I'm coming in a little bit below what I think the house is going to sell for. Reason being, the market is getting worse daily for us. And by the market getting worse daily, I mean, people just aren't, the traffic, like the amount of people going to homes is off. Now, why is that? Well, first of all, the time of year is like not good. It's not the best time of the home buying or selling season. That'd be in April, May, that type of space. Second, I mean, the only people out there trying to buy right now are like hardcore. They want to buy a house. So you don't have this massive amount of people. It's just very probably knowledgeable buyers. So you don't want to be overpriced, because they'll just laugh and say, well, I'm not going to spend this when I could buy, something else somewhere else. So that's what I would do. I'd come to the market a little bit lower. As far as concessions, I would not offer too many concessions. I would say, look, you got a pretty good deal here, and you should probably just take it. On the buyer side, on the seller side, I'm saying, like, if somebody comes in and says, they want $5,000 in repairs, I would tell them to go pound sand. Not going to happen. Even now, we're not that desperate. So I don't know. That's where I'm at. That's what I think. If you have questions about real estate, especially buying or selling homes, you should put that in the chat. You should put that in the comments. I will answer them. I read all the comments. I read everything in the chat. I love when I get spammed, because sometimes that's the only stuff I get. It's kind of depressing. Anyway, let's move on. I wanted to go over something I saw on Google Trends a while ago, and I just wanted to go over it because it's wild. It's not in my wheelhouse, and so I think it'll be kind of fun. It'll be fun to formulate an opinion as I read the article. Did you see this? It says nuclear fusion lab achieves ignition. What does it mean? Well, I don't know what it means. I don't know if you've ever heard that. I think it's R. Kelly has the remix to Ignition, hot and fresh out. Anyway, didn't think it was going to go to R. Kelly there, did you? Not that I'm, a fan of his situation. Anyway, it says researchers at the U.S. National Ignition Facility created a reaction that made more energy than they put in. So that's what it says. But we're gonna talk about that. But also, the U.S. National Ignition Facility, okay, they achieved ignition, which I think is good. Like there's bills that go through Congress, like the combating inflation or inflation lowering or price stability bill. That was totally just hand money over to people. That had nothing to do with inflation. In fact, it's going to cause more inflation. The Jobs Acts, those are all meant to keep people from having jobs. Always the opposite, pretty much, of what the name of the bill is what's going to end up happening. But here in government, we have this nuclear fusion lab achieving ignition at the ignition facility. So, I mean, that's we should be pretty happy about that. So it says, I'm not going to read the whole article because it's a little bit technical, but we'll just go through some of the high points. It says, scientists at the world's largest nuclear fusion facility have for the first time achieved the phenomenon known as ignition, creating a nuclear reaction that generates more energy than it consumes. It says results of the breakthrough at the U.S. National Ignition Facility conducted on the 5th of December and announced today by U.S. President Joe Biden's administration has excited the global fusion research community. Now, why is it U.S. President Joe Biden's administration and not just like the ignition place, the ignition facility? Like, what did Joe Biden do to contribute to this, or his administration? Like, as far as I know, they've been researching this for 50 years. So, I mean, I don't really feel like they've done much. But whatever. It says that research aims to harness nuclear fusion, the phenomenon that powers the sun, to provide a source of near limitless clean energy on Earth. Researchers caution that despite the latest success, a long path remains to achieving that goal. Now, look, I'm just going to talk to you the way I would talk to anyone else. I think we need to be careful about utopias. Okay? I think we need to be careful about them. And what do I mean by utopia? Let's just assume for a moment that we ended up with the technology that we could actually use fusion and we could power everything. Like what do you think is going to happen if we can do that? Like, how do you think that's going to affect your life? Do you think that your life is going to be improved? Your individual life is going to be improved by the fact that we've gotten fusion. We could say, well, yes, John, because we're saving the environment, we're saving the planet. This will help us so we don't have to use carbon emissions. We won't have any of those. And so everything will be perfect. Do you think the human nature is going to allow for that to be true? I mean, I feel like we have like hard wiring to screw up everything. For everything that we create, we have the ability to screw it up. And I will take as an example, I will put forth an example. War. I will put forth war. How many times in our history in the world have we just slaughtered millions of people of our own people, meaning humans? It seems like we've got a disconnect. Like, we cannot, like, look at the United States. We cannot stand prosperity. We've always got to do something to just mess it up. Why do you think fusion is going to be any different? Let me go out on a limb and say, who do you think is going to be allowed to have the technology for ignition and fusion? Do you think it's going to be like your average guy walking down the street? Okay. Well, if not them, then who? Well, is it going to be private companies? The same utility companies we have? There's not a lot of competition in utilities. They're called utilities for a reason. Like, if you're in California right now, do you feel like the utilities, like, during your lifetime have improved? Like the quality of the service or the price? And I would go back to this. Even if we had all electric cars and we're the Jetsons, okay, there'd still be people taking an approach that says, oh, we need to fix this. Oh, this is life or death. I'm just like, for everything that I want to be happy about, it just seems like for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction that's negative. Oh, let me get rid of this. It says it's an incredible accomplishment. It says I mean, this is an odd paragraph. It's an incredible accomplishment, says Mark Herman, the deputy director of fundamental weapons physics at Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory in California, which houses the fusion laboratory. Wait a minute. We're going to use fusion for weapons? Well, that doesn't sound like the utopia that I thought it was going to be just moments ago. The landmark experiment follows years of works by multiple teams on everything from lasers and optics to targets and computer models, Herman says. That is, of course, what we're celebrating. Okay. It says a flagship experimental facility of the U.S. Department of Energy's nuclear weapons program that was designed to study thermonuclear explosions. NIF originally aimed to achieve ignition by 2012. Was President Biden president in 2012? And obviously before that, because they had to build it, and has faced criticism for delays and cost overruns. In August 2021, NIF scientists announced they had used their high-powered lasers to achieve a record reaction that crossed a critical threshold on the path to ignition. But efforts to replicate that experiment or shot in the following months fell short. Ultimately, scientists scrapped efforts to replicate that shot and rethink the experimental design, an effort that paid off last week. So what are these people doing? Are we doing weapons research, or are we doing clean fuel research, or both? And seriously, you were supposed to get this done by 2012, and it's now 10 years later. It says there was a lot of people who didn't think it would be possible, but I and others kept the faith somewhat, feel somewhat vindicated. I'm having a Cosmo to celebrate. Well, that's good. Go get drunk. Okay. And then it says Nature looks at the NIF's latest experiment and what it means for fusion scientists, or for fusion science. I can read. It says the facility used its set of 192 lasers to deliver 2.05 megajoules of energy onto a pea-sized gold cylinder containing a frozen pellet of the hydrogen isotopes deuterium and tritium. The pulse of energy caused the capsule to collapse, creating temperatures only seen in stars and thermonuclear weapons. And the hydrogen isotopes fused into helium, releasing additional energy and creating a cascade of fusion reactions. The laboratory's analysis suggests that the reaction released some 3.15 megajoules of energy, roughly 54% more than the energy that went into the reaction, and more than double the previous record of 1.3 megajoules. Now, we're going to get to it. Okay, we're getting there. This is the part. It says fusion research has been going on since the early 50s, and this is the first time in the laboratory that fusion has ever produced more energy than it consumed. Okay. All right. However, now that says that is what it says. Now it says, however, while the fusion reactions may have produced more than 3 megajoules of energy, more than what was delivered to the target, NIF's 192 lasers consumed 322 megajoules of energy in the process. Like, look, now I'm not a nuclear physicist. Okay. I'm a real estate agent from South County, Afton in particular, St. Louis, Missouri. I have an MBA. I have a degree in real estate and construction management from the University of Denver. I don't know anything about physics. However, just reading the article as a layman, 322 megajoules of energy consumed while producing 2.05 megajoules of energy is not more than what was consumed. Like, not even close. It's a big milestone, but NIF is not a fusion energy device. Says Dave Hammer, a nuclear engineer at Cornell University. Herman acknowledges as much, saying that there are many steps on the path to lasers fusion energy. NIF was not designed to be efficient. It was designed to be the biggest laser we could possibly build to give us the data we need for the nuclear stockpile research program. Now, wait a minute, guys. What are we doing here? Like, are we not designing a nice, clean energy source that's going to power all of our homes and our cars with zero emissions? That's not what we're doing. We've got a nuclear stockpile research program. That's what this is for. Well, I feel a little bit. And by the way, it didn't even get to what it was supposed to. What exactly happened here? It says, I don't care about that. It says, why are these results significant? Why? Yes, why? It says at one level, it's about proving what is possible. And on that front, many scientists have held the result as a milestone in fusion science. So I always tell people, like, we'll be writing a contract and they'll say, like, do you think we'll get this house? Sometimes it's people that write a low ball offer and it just irritates me. I say it's possible, but it's not probable. It sounds like that's exactly what this is. It sounds like it's possible, it's just not probable. It says, but the results can carry particular significance in NIF. The facility was designed to help nuclear weapons scientists to study the intense heat and pressures and explosions, and that is possible only if the facility produces high-yield fusion reactions. It took more than a decade, but they can be commended for reaching their goal. Again, I don't know that. I mean, like, just reading it, it took 322 megajoules of laser energy to produce 2.05 megajoules of energy. Look, again, I might be putting out my ignorance in this, but if you use 322 megajoules of energy, okay, then you got to produce 323 megajoules of energy or more to have won this one. Bodner says the big question now is what the Department of Energy will do next. Double down on weapons research at NIF or pivot to a laser program geared towards fusion energy research. Really? I mean, the war machine is going to just not do that. We're going to go to a new program towards fusion energy research. No, we're going to double down on weapons. Weapons are key. The United States is an arms dealer. Sorry to say that, but it says, what does it mean for fusion energy? It says NIF was not designed with commercial fusion energy in mind. Many researchers doubt that laser-driven fusion will be the approach that ultimately leads to fusion energy. But Campbell believes that its latest success could boost confidence in the promise of laser fusion power and open the door to a program focused on energy applications. This is absolutely necessary to have the credibility to sell an energy program. So look, they're going to say, look, we figured out how to do this, but we just need more money and a larger amount of money. A larger program with more resources so that we can have this. Isn't this great? We just proved it could happen. Even though if you look at it, it didn't really happen, but it could, it should. This is about money. There are many other fusion experiments worldwide that are trying to achieve fusion for energy applications using different approaches. But engineering challenges remain, including the design and construction of plants that can extract the heat produced by the fusion and use it to generate significant amounts of energy that can be turned into usable electricity. I feel like this is a big nothing burger. No offense. I mean, if you thought next year we could all, have Teslas and drive around like their whole world, right now you're probably disappointed. It says, although positive news, this result is still a long way from the actual energy gain required for the production of electricity. says, what's next? It says, to demonstrate the type of fusion study that NIF can be a viable way of producing energy, the efficiency of the yield, the energy released compared to the energy that goes into producing the laser pulses need to grow by at least 2 orders of magnitude. Research will also need to dramatically increase the rate at which lasers can produce the pulses and how quickly they can clear the target chamber to prepare it for another burn. Sufficient fusion energy producing events at repeated performance would be a major milestone of interest. The $22 billion ITER project, a collaboration between China, the European Union, India, Japan, Korea, Russia, and the United States. That's all they got? Look at how much money is being spent on the war in Ukraine by all sides. And this is what we got for this? Aims to achieve self-sustaining fusion, meaning that the energy from fusion produces more fusion through a different technique from NIF's internal confinement approach. ITER will keep a plasma of deuterium and tritium confined. And if I messed up the words, I'm sorry. In a toroidal vacuum chamber or tokamak and heat it up till the nuclei fuse. When it starts doing so in 2035, it will aim to reach burning stage where the self-heating power is the dominant source of heating. Such self-sustaining fusion is the key to producing more energy than what's put in. So we've got until 2035, they're saying. And let's just give them 10 years because, look, it took them 10 more years or more on this 2012 order. I mean, this is not where we need to do things. Like, this was not nearly as exciting as I thought it was going to be. I mean, I think it was Monday night. I mean, it was like, oh, we're going to do it. We got Ignition. And it wasn't the R. Kelly song. It's not the remix to Ignition. Hot and fresh out the kitchen. I'm going to look at that up just a second. I'm curious. Oh my, let me stick my key in your ignition, babe. See, I'll be doing about 80 on your freeway. Girl, I won't stop until I drive you crazy. Because we off up in this Jeep. I don't even know if that's the right song. You ever read song lyrics and like, I didn't remember it being that way. I don't think that's the one. I'm going back to find a different one. Oh, so this was the Ignition. There was a remix. Yes. Yes. It's the remix to Ignition, hot and fresh out the kitchen. Mama rolling that body got every man in here wishing. Sipping on Coke and rum. I'm like, so what? I'm drunk. It's the freaking weekend, baby. I'm about to have me some fun. That's the line. See, I didn't know the original. I didn't know there was an original one. That was riveting. So anyway, the bottom line here is it seems that scientists have shot 192 lasers at something and it produced some energy after it had been shot. And really the whole experiment was to figure out how to work with like nuclear fusion, like for weapons and stuff, like design better weapons to kill more people faster. Not even cheaper, just to kill more people. And so they've gotten, they've kind of found out that Yeah, they can do that, but they're not sure if they're going to go kind of more towards the weapon stuff or if they're going to go towards, green energy. But at least now they can sell the idea of green energy if they don't get enough money for weapons. I mean, that was depressing. I'm done. I'm done with that. I'm going to go here, but I'm going to go here. I hope you didn't see that ahead of time. We need to check on rates. Mortgage interest rates are important for the housing market. Why? Well, it kind of determines affordability. So, like, people need a mortgage a lot of times to be able to afford a home. 30-year fix came in at 6.27%. Now, like just last Friday, it was like 6.34%. And the question is, John, what is going on? Like, what do you know about this? I don't know. I look at the little chart and it's going down. That's what I know. Let me see if I can get my mouse. See how it goes down? Like it's going down in little steps there. Now, if you put like a straight line, it would have to break the trend line, okay, for it to be significant. Where is that going to happen? I don't know. And I'm not trading the 30-year fixed, but, could prices come down and mortgage rates come down? Yes. Yes. Would that be a good thing? I don't know. I think so. I think so. Remains to be seen. Now, tonight, are we going to do something different? No. But let me just try and put forth this plan here. We're going to go and we're going to talk about the stuff I saw on Twitter today. Then we're going to go see some articles. Two of the articles are from the same source, but they're two vastly different articles, and so I used them. Just telling you what's up ahead if you want to switch the channel now. We're going into the Twitter section. Let's go. It says Encore Bubble. Why do people say higher home equity means we're going to weather a correction better? Homeowner equity in itself is an inflated bubble and will deflate just as fast in a correction. On top of that, leverage accelerates the inflation effect and likewise the deflation. A thread. Now look, this concept, why do people say high homeowner equity means we're going to weather a correction better? Homeowner equity is in itself an inflated in a bubble and will deflate as fast as in a correction. Look, let's just talk about my home. My home I purchased for like 180 in 2007. Yes, right before the crash of the real estate market. And I stayed in my home. It's now 2022. You know what? I may not have bought my house in 2007. I don't know. I don't remember. I feel bad about this. Kind of ruining the story, but we're just going to continue. Anyway, I bought my house a long time ago. And I can always remember my neighbor saying, hey, did you really pay that for that house? And I said, yes, I did. It's like, you're an idiot. You're raising my real estate taxes. I'm like, well, that was not a very nice welcome to the neighborhood, but he's dead now. And so, anyway, but I really haven't done much to my house. I mean, I've done a lot, but I mean, I wouldn't have had to do much. And I could get like $100,000 more for my house right now than I could when I bought it. What is that? That's homeowner equity. What did I do to earn that other than sit at a house? Not much. Not much. It's not real. It's not real. And there's lately, like today, meaning there's people that say, well, look, you always have to look in through this as a concept of time. Okay. So like if you take year over year, or if you extend the graph back 3 years or 10 years, if you take a selective data set, it's always going to show what you want it to. I mean, to an extent. Anyway, so let's continue. It says, imagine a person buys a 1 million home with 10% down. Then the house appreciates 20%. That's a gain of 200,000. Their equity goes from 100 to 300,000. That's 3 times equity growth from 20% home price appreciation. Yes. But when the home prices decline in price, it deflates just as fast. If the home declines 17% back to $1 million, the equity drops all the way back to 100,000. That's a 66% drop in equity from a 17% home price decline. Notice that a buyer who put down 20% down sees a less dramatic rise in equity. If home price appreciates 20% more, home equity goes from 200 to 400,000. That's two times instead of three times. So the higher the LTV, the more dramatically equity appreciates, which is loan to value. The higher the loan to value, the leverage has a multiplier effect in both directions. So when you look at the wonderful rise in home equity, remember 20% appreciation can 3 times equity for many buyers, and it can evaporate all of it in a decline. In the last few years, median owner occupied loan to value is 90%. This means that all buyers who bought in the past year, 50% of them have 10% or less equity. Doesn't take much to deflate that. High homeowner equity isn't a protection against a correction in a bubble because it's inflated by said bubble. Fixed rates are protective. So is low DTI and stable jobs. High homeowner equity is paper money and can evaporate just as quickly as it appeared. Yes. Thank God somebody mentioned this. I get really, really nervous when, and they say this, like the Fed will say, like, oh, well, Americans' balance sheets are strong. We've got great lending standards. Everything's going to be fine. It's like credit card debt is just skyrocketing. I mean, just terrible. And this idea that people have all this leverage in their home, at what point in time? It matters. Here's a chart for you that should scare real estate agents. National Association of Realtors has 1,598,117 members, equal to 1% of the total U.S. labor force. You can see the housing bubble here. We got 0.90. Now we're at 0.97. What does that mean? Well, it means when the market goes down, there will be fewer real estate agents. Now, look, I've lived this. Let me tell you what it's like. I'm at the point in my career where I have people that that refer me. Like I have a referral business, basically. I've helped so many people buy and sell homes, and I've done a decent enough job to where they refer me to their family and friends that I get calls from those people. And, as long as I treat everybody right, as long as I do the right thing, I will always have that business. Now, what happens is during downturns, people will call me. That's no problem. But when the market gets strong, all of a sudden other people see what I'm doing and they're like, I want to do that. I want to be a real estate agent. They make all this money. It's a great lifestyle. I'll tell you what, to be totally honest with you, what I see people tell me the real estate business is versus the one I'm living, it couldn't be more different. But anyway, so all of a sudden those referrals that I used to get go to like someone that's done like one deal. Like it's a cousin or it's a best friend or something. I lose out on deals. I lose out on deals way more on the way up in a market than I do on the way down. On the way down, people are just jumping out left and right because the whole premise is that you can sell a lot of houses and therefore you can make a lot of money. But it turns out that when the market's going south, you can't sell that many houses. And we're all fighting over the same pie. And so after a while, people are like, I can make more money elsewhere, or I can do something else with my time. And so they leave. Now, I'll tell you, I mean, like I'm being honest tonight. I don't know why. I'm always honest. But anyway, when's the best time for me as a real estate agent? It sure as hell isn't on the way up. You know, the best time it is for me as real estate when the market's going down. Okay. And then it starts getting bad when the market starts to turn back up again because it's the same cycle. It's borne out by this. I have a terrible time along here. Okay. I make money here. Okay. I have a terrible time here. I will make money here. Now, is this just me? I don't know. All I know is that's how my business goes. Maybe somebody else's business goes that way. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. I know that this is how my business has gone since I've been in it. Moving on, Lance Lambert, 57% of homeowners oppose building more houses, apartments in their local community. 35% of renters oppose building more houses, apartments in their local community. And then this person writes, just to be clear, almost all suburbanites, Democrat or Republican, are against more housing in their communities because it stresses local schools, which are almost always underfunded anyway. And rural dwellers don't want the rural to go away. If you think that schools are underfunded, we're getting a huge building development across the street from me. It's going to affect people's commutes. It's going to affect traffic. It's going to affect the schools. The schools don't care. They're like, more power to them. When I go shopping, there will be more people at the stores. They're not the same. The people that are buying those houses are not like the people that live here. So it's going to be kind of weird. And what I would say is, I mean, it happened. I don't really care. I mean, I don't voicing my opinion, a negative opinion on people, development is counter to the way I think. For a long time, I wanted to be a developer. To be a developer, though, takes a little bit different skill set than the one I have, and a way to you have to conserve capital very well, and you have to deal with bureaucracy and time. And I'm not real patient. I'm not. So, I'm not convinced that we have a shortage of housing in the United States. I'm giving you my opinion. You say, John, prove that that's the case. I can't prove it. But let me just anecdotally, okay, we were talking about how I got so much more equity in my home. Well, like, how did that happen? How did I get so much more equity in my home when I didn't do anything? That leads me to believe that somebody else wanted my home and would pay a certain amount of money more than what I would. Okay. So if you increase the supply, right? To me, I mean, the numbers, like when they put a new house out right now, it's very, very expensive. It's way more money than what you could buy a regular house for, like an old house. Okay. And like the only incentive for builders to build houses is profit. And so if things cool down, builders aren't going to be building new houses. So the inventory will be stagnant, which would only happen because prices are going down. I don't know. What do you think? Put it in the chat, put it in the comments. I don't think building a bunch of houses all over America is going to fix the problem. I think that this is a Federal Reserve. I think this is an inflation problem. And I think there's many other layers to it. I think wages in the United States are depressed. I think that many people have a tough time figuring out that China is, eating our lunch. And, some of this stuff is not, we're not on very strong footing, but that's the way I feel. I don't know if it's true. As we go on, it says, this was interesting. This is from a real estate broker in Texas. This was from Lance Lambert. This was a reply to that. It says, during our Twitter Spaces chat, Allie Wolf Econ said, builders are seeing it's better to rip the Band-Aid off rather than a little here and a little cut there. What's interesting is that the builders' margins don't reflect this at all, not yet anyway. So far, it's a slow bleed lower for new home prices in the DFW market. It's Dallas-Fort Worth. Median new home price down a whopping 3.3% in November from the June peak. Same marginal drop in price per square foot. At a median price of $429,990 in November, new construction prices in Dallas-Fort Worth are still 36% higher than where they stood in January of 2020. At $197 per square foot, North Texas new home prices are 44% higher than where they stood January of 2020. New home buyers getting less home for more money. That's exactly what I'm seeing. It isn't like you're getting this really like in St. Louis. It isn't like you're getting like this great house, like 2,000 square foot house in St. Louis is 250 to start at least in the worst parts of town. I say that's not true. I mean, the worst parts of town are like 20,000, but that's not likely that you're going to go there. So, and then a new house for 2,000 square feet is going to be 400 or way more. He's onto something. The prices are so much higher than they were in 2020, but you're getting less. Ryan Lundquist, here's a word picture. How much do I? Oh, I'm sorry, I screwed that up. This is so important. Most local price metrics are down less than 2% from last November. So some say row prices are barely down, but it's a much different view when looking at change from the spring. My advice: look at the year over year and recent stats. Here's a word picture. How much do I weigh compared to 1 year ago, and how much do I weigh since the spring? Those could be two different answers, right? And that's how real estate stats are right now. Two distinct numbers. If we only focus on 1 year ago, our view is limited. And so that's I was saying this earlier. It doesn't make sense if rates were at 2%, okay, or less than 3, okay, this summer, like June. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to use that as a comp for right now when rates are 7%. It's twice what you were paying before. It's not it just doesn't make any sense. Could you have gotten that in the past? Yeah, probably in June. That doesn't help you now. By the way, I'm running long tonight. I'm going to ditch the articles. We'll do those tomorrow. You can be upset with me. It's okay. I get it. Nar Research, National Association of Research, it says two main factors affecting today's mortgage market turned more favorably for mortgage rates this week. Inflation continued to ease while the Federal Reserve switched to a smaller interest rate increases. This year's rate hikes are starting to show progress in restoring price stability. However, interest rates are already in the range of 4.25 to 4.5%, their highest level since 2007. And the Fed will continue to raise interest rates next year in its fight against inflation. What does all this mean for mortgage rates? Rates will likely drop even further this week, moving closer to 6%. Although mortgage rates are significantly higher now than in previous years, rates will likely stabilize below 6% in 2023. That'll be interesting. National Association of Realtors is calling for less than 6%. I've been calling for a 5.5% mortgage rate, but who knows? Zero Hedge on Twitter. Powell, by the middle of 2023, should begin to see slower inflation from housing services sector. Translation, the 9-month lagged OER will finally peak just as housing sector is radioactive wasteland. So look, people think differently about the Fed. Some people are like, hey, you messed it up already. Like, we're in trouble. Other people are like, hey, it's good. The Kobeissi Letter. Powell, we were seeing the effects of monetary policy on the housing market, but it'll take time to see the full effects of higher rates. Again, the Fed wants a recession and they need to see an unemployment spike. That's what scares me. It's like, how do you chip off jobs from the economy without going into a recession? And what does that do? I mean, is that going to help wage growth? That's where I'm going to keep it tonight. So, what will the schedule be going forward? Well, I'm going to stream tomorrow night. That's Thursday. Friday night, I'm going to be gone until Sunday. I won't be gone. Friday through Sunday, don't expect to stream. I'll pick up one on Monday of the following week. With that, I'm going to head on out. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I'll catch you on the next one.